It doesn't matter that I'm a US permanent resident going to Cambodia. I am bound by whatever regulations pertain to me as a Jamaican passport holder. The question is, and I get this one a lot on the saipanliving.com website, question is, do I need a visa to enter Saipan? The short answer for US citizens is no, you do not need a visa. Saipan is part of the US for immigration purposes, so you can go to Saipan the same way you can go to Jersey or New York or California. However, you will be traveling internationally, possibly, because you could actually travel from the mainland to US mainland to Hawaii to Guam and then Saipan. So the short answer is no. But if you are not a US citizen, there are some certain things that you need to know to answer that question. The first is there's something called the US Visa Waiver Program, and that allows passport holders from 40 different countries to come to the United States without need of a visa in advance. So essentially you get a visa on demand, but you do have to fill out an ESTA, E-S-T-A, and I'll have links to all of these in the description. But a few tips I would like to mention that'll make life a little bit easier. First is, even though the name of my channel is Discover Saipan and my website is Saipan Living, and my other website is Saipan Bookings, technically Saipan is just one island of a 15-island chain called the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, CNMI, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So when you see official documentation from USCIS, Immigration and Naturalization Service, or the Border Patrol, they will mention CNMI, and that's how we refer to ourselves here in these islands. We here in the CNMI refer to ourselves as the CNMI. So be careful that when you're reading official documentation, anything that mentions CNMI is referring to Saipan, Tinian, Rota, and ostensibly the other 12 islands as well. But the ones that are inhabited are Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. The other thing that you might see is NMI, Northern Mariana Islands. All right, so when it comes to official regulations and entry requirements, make sure you're looking for things that say either Saipan, Tinian, and Rota, which is where they'll usually say Northern Mariana Islands or the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. That's one. Keep in mind again that Guam is a separate entity altogether. Its own government, its own flag, it's a territory, whereas Saipan is a Commonwealth. But it is not. There are rules that apply to Guam that do not apply to Saipan. So don't make the mistake of thinking that they're all the same, even though geologically they are all part of the volcanic structure called the Mariana Islands. So just to be clear, the entry requirements are different for Guam than they are for Saipan in certain regards. All right. Next thing I would suggest is not to take any information on any single website as the gospel, as they say, for a number of reasons. There are still people who are, well, first of all, you should only be getting your information from government websites. So that's either US federal websites .gov, or if Saipan government, CNMI government websites, that is gov.mp for Mariana's Protectorate. Make sure you're not going to a .com, or because a lot of sites may be set up in order to provide a service to you. There's nothing wrong with that, but the information that they provide may not be the latest, may not be accurate, and it may be worded in such a way that you believe you need them in order to facilitate whatever it is that you want to do. Most of the things that you need to do, whether it's traveling to Saipan or traveling to Vietnam or Cambodia, should and can be done directly through the government website, through the government agency. You don't need to go through a third party in order to to get things done. So just make sure you're getting your information from an official website, like a Korean, I think is .go.kr. So you can look it up. What are the official government websites for whichever places you're going to. But back to Saipan. Some people have contacted me and they'll say something like, okay, I am coming from Japan and I have a permanent, I'm a Australian citizen, but I'm a permanent resident of Japan. How, what are the regulations for me? So the bottom line rule is, it doesn't matter where you're a permanent resident of. What's used to determine your admissibility to any country is usually, I haven't been to every country, but it's usually your passport. The passport is what's the thing. So it doesn't matter that I'm a US permanent resident going to Cambodia. I am bound by whatever regulations pertain to me as a Jamaican passport holder. So your status in any other country, permanent residency, makes no difference at all for the most part. There may be exceptions that I'm simply not aware of, but it's your passport that will determine the rules that apply to you. Okay? The short answer for people who are coming from a country other than the 40 that are part of the Visa Waiver Program, if you go to my saipanliving.com website, or if you go to my Saipan bookings, there should be a link that says, do I need a visa to travel to Saipan? Click on that link and you'll see all the countries in the world, and you'll either see a red stop sign or a green go light. If it's green, that means you can come without a need of securing a visa in advance. If it's red, that means stop, you have to get a visa first. So that's all I can think of for now. So the answer for US citizens, no, you do not need a visa. And by the way, as I said, in theory, you could travel from the mainland and stay only in US territories and US possessions, from the mainland to Hawaii to Guam to Saipan. And since it's all basically within the US, you technically don't need a passport. If anyone has done that, or if you know someone who has done that, definitely let me know. I'd love to see how that, if it actually works. Of course, most people traveling internationally in any regard or over huge oceans will usually have a passport. But technically it is possible, and I'd be curious to know if you've done it. So anyway, that's the answer to the question, do I need a visa to enter Saipan? The answer is yes and no. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Subscribe.
Hear what a man say.